If both parties, or in this case, multiple partners, have done their best to achieve the objectives and progress is very real, then there should be willingness to re-examine a deadline.
Did you tell President Obama that?
President Obama knows me. We don't need to tell each other.
On the surface, the Obama administration was all about celebrating America's eventual and complete military withdrawal from Afghanistan. Talk to those who know what really goes on, and they'll darkly smile and know what was only a matter of time. Pleasure to welcome back to MidPoint, former Deputy Commanding General of the Pacific Command, now retired U.S. Army Major General, co-author of the book Endgame, The Blueprint for Victory in the War on Terror, Paul Vallely. Major General, thank you so much for being here, and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ed.
Major General, let's look at exactly what Ashraf Ghani said here, that we should be willing to readdress the deadlines. This does sound to some people like a leader of a country that is simply not ready to take on the war themselves. They really haven't prepared themselves well, and that they are just asking for more Americans to take the bullets for them.
Well, I think the key phrase that was used in your introduction here was on the surface. You have America and the commanders over there, as well as the White House, trying to put a positive spin on this turnover and the reduction of American forces down to approximately 10,000. He doesn't seem, that is, the new president of Afghanistan does not appear to be underlying, I guess, when you sense what he's saying, to be that positive about the future over there. Because everything outside of the wires, we call it, outside of the compounds, is still very high threat areas that allow the Taliban to come in and conduct any kind of operations they seem to be willing to do.
Is there any reason for optimism on the American people's side of things as they look at Afghanistan to think that we have done the job, that we are leaving this country, quote unquote, leaving this country, in at least some sense of ability to care for themselves in any stretch against the Taliban? Or again, are we just fooling ourselves?
Well, in a way, we're fooling ourselves. I'm not that optimistic about it, but we certainly have given them a tremendous amount of training, new arms and equipment, vehicles, training their Air Force, training pilots, helicopters, fixed wing, as well as jet aircraft, to establish, a tremendous amount of even infrastructure over there. But it's mostly in the urban areas, primarily in Kabul. When you get out in the Badlands, I would call it, over there, and when you look up at the Pakistani border, Waziristan, where the Pakistanis still don't take the appropriate action against those sanctuaries up there. So it's a very, very high threat area. Again, I would like to be more optimistic, but I think I side with most of the American people. We're not that optimistic after 13 years over there since the fall of 2001.
Why are the people of Afghanistan still unable to militarily care for themselves?
Well, I think, again, it goes back to culture. They're a tribal community. When you get out to the villages, it's very tribal. They don't have a strong sense of dedication to a central government, to democracy. They still look at Sharia law as the law of the land, going back, to the religious culture that they've had over there for centuries. So that's not going to change. And no matter what kind of training we give them, it's not going to change that tribal attitude through most of them. Now, many of the senior people have been trained in the West. They've been trained in London and Paris in the United States. But that's a very small minority, or excuse me, that's a very small majority of the people over there.
I've got about 30 seconds left, then we'll take a break here. But if you were Hillary Clinton or perhaps Jeb Bush or anybody running for the presidency in 2016, would the smart move now to come out and say, wait, the president has got it wrong. We need to be there. We're going to be there. America, listen to me, because I'm not going to lie to you anymore. This is the only way to save lives and actually take care of the Taliban. That's just the smartest thing to do.
Well, if they were smart, what would they do is get some people in that understand that area and have a new strategy for attacking the Taliban, particularly like we did in the fall of 2001 with superb air power and special operations, but not have big American bases over there. We can use what I call the lily pad strategy: attack from the outside, appraise the threat based on good intelligence, take out the enemy, and then the Americans return to home base. You know, I've had an epiphany, and I think I've told you this before. I would not shed 1 ounce of American blood over there until we have a new national security team and a strategy that seeks victory.
Okay, hold on to that thought for 1 second. Major General Paul Vallely will be back as we continue right here on MidPoint.